With the new release of the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, they also released a new very cool tool online we can now use, which is the MSFS 2024 Flight Planner. When you go on the website planner.flightsimulator.com, you can use this tool for free if you connect your Xbox account, and then you can use this flight planner online. It's a browser based flight planner you can use, and it's really good to do basic flight planning. It's on not quite on the same level as PFPX or SimBrief, but it's on a very good level to do basic flight planning. And in this short tutorial we want to have a look on the basic features of this program, of this tool. I want to do a short flight within Germany to demonstrate the abilities of this product. So if you open the planner page, or the page for the first time, this is the default view you have. In the middle you see the whole map, which is the central part of the flight planner, and then on the left side you have all the tabs for the flight planning, so you can choose an aircraft, the route, flight details, and so on and so on. We'll have a look on this later. Then on the right hand side we have some possibilities to change our maps, so we can choose if we want to have IFR charts or IFR en route charts low, high, VFR charts. We can enable and disable all the airports, nav aids, and so on and so on. So you can really make the map your own, or what you need in this kind of operation you're doing, and then make everything on your own needs. So today, to demonstrate this tool, we want to plan a short flight within Germany, and you already see one great feature. If you zoom in, the detail radius is increasing. So when you zoom out, you only have the basic layout. You see some airports, the coastline, or the boundaries of the FIR or information region. And if you zoom in, then you get more and more details, waypoints. You get all of the airspace structures, and if you also choose then the VFR chart, for example, you get even more details if you zoom in, like railway tracks and so on and so on. So it's a really cool tool, and yeah, you have a very high level of details there. Also, if you have one quick look, for example, if you have a look on Saarbrücken, which will be our departure airport today, you see the CTR boundary, and you also see that they have on the western runway, so on runway 27, they have an ILS approach, and that's a very good, very quick view on an airport. If they have a precision approach, if they have any nav aids at the airport, if they have an ILS approach, that's very good to get a first short overview of the airport you're planning. So, but let's give it a try. We want to fly from Saarbrücken to Munich. Very short inner Germany flight, domestic flight, but then we can get all of the features we need for today. We start with an aircraft. We first need to select the aircraft we're using today, and just for illustration purposes, let's take an A320, so we have no performance issues for this short route. And then the main part we want to have a closer look today is the route section, so we want to build our own route for this leg. And then you see it's very straightforward. You see, okay, we want to fly IFR or VFR. We leave this on IFR. We can estimate a rough true airspeed we want to fly. Let's say, I don't know, let's fly 300 knots true airspeed. Then our planned flight level en route. As we stay in the lower airspace, we go to 23,000, and then we can also, if we already know that we want to fly in the lower airspace, we can already select IFR low, as we need this chart later on. Then we can select an origin. We want to fly from Saarbrücken, which is Echo Delta Delta Romeo. And it's already showing here on the map. That's our departure airport, and we want to fly to Munich. Echo Delta Delta Mike. And then we already get the straight line on the Great Circle with a direct air distance of 193 nautical miles on a direct course of 100. That's the information we get from this arrow here in the middle. But for sure we can't fly direct from Saarbrücken to Munich. We have to plan some airways, some waypoints, and so on, and that's what we are gonna look at right now. So you always see the route here in the upper part of this window. You see the route which we built, and then if we change anything, it will automatically be updated here in the upper part of the route segment. So let's start with Saarbrücken and with a departure. We need to get out of Saarbrücken with the SID, a standard instrument departure, and that's very straightforward. If we go on departure and click on add, we already see there a little dot at runway 27, and that's the preferred runway which the flight planner is giving you. So they have a look on the METAR, on the winds, and they will decide automatically which runway is most probably the preferred runway for this departure. We can have a look if they are right. If we go here on the top and type in Echo Delta Delta Romeo for Saarbrücken, then we have the METAR here. We see the wind 240 degrees with 11 knots. So it's a westerly wind, and most probably runway 27 looks very good right here. If you're already in this view, you see if we type in any airport, for example Munich, they will open a new window on the left hand side here with information. So we have like longest runway, the transition altitude, coordinates, the variation, and very important, the latest METAR. So we have all of the basic information on just one view. That's very great for the flight planning. And we also have here in colored if we have some weather phenomena which are maybe we have a closer look. So few clouds on 2,800 feet or scattered at the 3,300 feet. Let's see, okay, maybe some low clouds, and they will mark it with a color code. We also see the preferred runway will be 26 left, as we have a westerly wind, 260 degrees, 12 knots. And we see, okay, headwind component 12 knots, crosswind component 1 knot. So we have all of the major data we need for runway analysis in one place. Then on the second tab, runways, we have a schematic view of the runways. We again see the variation. We see wind barb, so we have an indication where the wind is coming from. It's directly tailwind, as we're now here on runway 08 left. And if we change to 26, then we have straight headwind, as we already saw in the METAR. Wind is 260, so right on our nose. And we again see crosswind 0 knots, headwind 12 knots. And we either have some more infos on the runway. We have concrete, we have the dimensions, so it's 4 kilometers long, 60 meters wide, true bearing, the slope, and elevation. So all the basic information for flight planning is all in one place, and that's what I think a very good advantage of this tool. And by the way, it's a free tool, so if you buy the flight simulator, you get this tool for free. You don't need to subscribe to anything. You get this all for free. So for flight planning, it's very great to have all of the information you need for decision making on just one page. That's very good advantage I see in this tool. And also some of the frequencies. You see approach, tower, they have a lot of tower frequencies with the de-icing and everything. So here's all of the frequencies here. I don't know how good updated they are. I don't know if they are updated with the RX circle, if any frequency might change. If this is also updated, I don't know, but I think that the frequencies provided here are very accurate to the real ones. So that should be alright. And then a big feature, which is my personal highlight, is that we have charts. We have built-in charts, and not any AIP charts we may get for free. We have Lido charts, and it's very great. I wrote with the guys of Lufthansa Systems and asked them, hey, can I show the charts? And they said, yeah, sure. And I think that's the biggest advantage of this tool, that we get all of the Lido charts for free. So if you click on the little chart symbol, you can just pop out the responding chart on your screen, and I think it's such a great tool because they are up-to-date charts, and these are the charts that most of the pilots, most of the airlines use in the real-world aviation. So I think that's a very good tool when it comes to as real as it gets, or when it comes to make the online or sim flying as real as it gets. And I think that's just great to have all these great charts available. In my opinion, the Lido charts are in the variety of charts we have, which we can use, like, I don't know, we have Jefferson charts, we have the ARP charts, and so on and so on. But for me personally, the Lido charts are the most forward charts. You have a very good idea if you just have one look on the chart to get all the major information you need on just one look, and that's for me the biggest advantage. If you're already in this chart viewer, then just let us take one more minute to have a deeper look inside, because that's a tool you will use very often. So you see the tabs here in the top. We have departure charts, arrival charts, approach charts, airport charts, and miscellaneous charts. But most of the airports don't have any miscellaneous charts, and that's where they sort all of the charts. So like airport charts is the AFC chart, which is very good for first phase of planning, because you have a very good overview of all sits at all stars, all runways, terrain in the area, and so on and so on. So that's a very good chart for the early phase of flight planning. And then on the second point, you have an AGC chart, an airport ground chart. And as the name suggests, yeah, we have an overview of the runway system, of the taxiways, and so on. Then when it comes to approach charts, we have all the instrument approaches, like ILS approaches. And again, these are very up-to-date charts, usually 14th of March 2024, so these are very updated charts. And yeah, we don't have to use any charts which are like 10 years old. If you just search any random airport on Google and looking for some charts, then you maybe just get some charts which are free of use, but they are like 10, 15 years old, and I mean, frequencies are wrong, headings are wrong, and so on and so on. And we don't have these problems here. We have accurate charts and very up-to-date charts. So I think the charts provided in this flight planner are one of the biggest advantages of using this tool. And I really look forward that they keep this product running and keep this implementation of Lido charts, because in my opinion, as I said, these charts are great. So if you have arrival charts, they will be placed in the second tab, like stars, and then we have all the sits in the departure field. Yeah. Okay, but let's just let us look on the weather tab here. Just one more, and then we get back to our departure. If we go on the weather tab here of Munich Airport, then we just see again the METAR. We see temperature, wind barb, visibility, and so on and so on. And we also see the TAF. So if you're planning any flight and we fly, let's say, longer than an hour, we might have a look on the TAF. And we also get it provided here. And if we are not sure what is BKN, broken clouds, then we see it here. Okay, here clouds broken at 1,000 feet. So that's a good help if we're not very familiar with all of the codes of the METAR and TAFs. Then we have an explanation below. But okay, let's close it and go back to our route. We want to fly from Saarbrücken to Munich, and we saw, okay, we need to file a departure. And as already mentioned, we get a preferred runway right here with the green dot. It's runway 27. And as we want to go, let's say southeastbound, we probably will use the Zweibrücken departure today. And we can use the ANAF departure, because let's say we are ANAF equipped, so we can take the Zweibrücken 1 Mike departure route. So Zulu Whiskey November 1 Mike departure route. And we can just click on it. We don't have any transitions here because it's not a big airport. And then click on select. And then we have all of the waypoints of the SID here in our flight planning window. We have a small error here. I don't know why they're making this. Maybe just a little bug. I hope they will fix it in further versions, but let's just ignore that. I think that will be debugged in any further releases or any updates. So we also see we have some altitude restrictions. If we have any altitude or speed restrictions on this SID or on any arrival route, they will already be displayed here in this field. So for example here at Delta Romeo 102, oh sorry, now we have opened some fix infos, so we don't want it. Delta Romeo 102, which is this waypoint here, we have a speed restriction of 250 knots. And if we want to have a look if this is correct, then we can just quickly go on the chart, on the corresponding chart, RNAV SID runway 27. So we don't have to search for anything or nothing. And we see Delta Romeo 102, maximum speed 215 knots. So that's absolutely correct. And you see all the information here are accurate. So then we care about our SID departure route, which goes to Zweibrücken VOR, and then we anyhow need to continue here to Munich. And sometimes it's easier if we don't just start with any airway planning here, but we should start with the arrival planning. And then we can have a look which stars, so standard terminal arrival routes Munich offers, and it's a bit easier for planning our airways. So let's have a look. Anyway, it's loading a bit. Yeah, now it's working. And we see if we're coming from the northwesterly direction, it's probably going to be the Rokiel departure, which is right here, the Rokiel departure. And also we see here, okay, runway 26 left will be open probably. So we see it's the Rokiel 1 Bravo. We select it, click on select, and then it's implemented in our flight plan. So very easy. If we have any transitions, we add the transitions also in this window, but we don't have any transitions right now here. We're only playing with the star, with the Rokiel 1 Bravo arrival route. And again, if we want to see the arrival in the chart, then we go here on previous chart, stars north. So we don't have to search. If we have a big airport and have like 20 stars or 20 transitions, then we don't have to search through all of the charts. We just go on the little map icon here and see, okay, Rokiel 1 Alpha is going from Rokiel to the initial portrix Mike NDB. So that's very straightforward, which I personally very like. So then let's have a look on the flight planning. I do not cover any things like, is the route valid, are there any high altitude restrictions on the route or anything. This is one step further. We just now have a look on the basic flight planning. So I don't know if this route will be valid if we put it on the validator of Eurocontrol. That would be one step further. We just now do one basic flight planning and have a look how we connect the waypoints with routes and with the SIDs and with the stars and so on. So we see we need to go to this point here to Rokiel, and we're starting here from Zweibrücken VOR, Zulu Whiskey November. What we see first, okay, Rokiel is only connected with one airway, which makes sense for us, which if we're coming here from the north, and it will be Valda. We can now just take the route and drag and drop it to Valda, select it, Whiskey Lima Delta, and then it's already saying, okay, we can do a direct Valda to Rokiel, or we can use an airway. So, because we don't have any airways further, we can just use direct and then Tango 104. So it will automatically say, okay, between Valda and Rokiel there's an airway, Tango 104, and that will be automatically selected. And we also see it on the left hand side in our planning view, Tango 104 now contains of Valda and then Rokiel. So that's very straightforward and very easy to use. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. So we need we need to go to Valda, and then maybe, because we have an airway here, we go to Dinkelsbühl maybe. Just drag and drop it again and see, okay, it's now already suggesting two airways, so an airway to get to Dinkelsbühl, to Delta Kilo Bravo via Zulu 818, and an airway after Dinkelsbühl to connect to Valda, Tango 104, and just select it. And then we have another great feature unlocked. We see, okay, now the program sees, okay, we want to get from Zweibrücken VOR to the point Delta Kilo Bravo, and he's now already saw, okay, there are two airways in between, or on this side only one, there's one airway in between, so he already suggested this airway to connect to Delta Kilo Bravo. So that's very great to just drag and drop the route, and if there's any airway, he will automatically suggest it and give you the option to take this airway. And that's it for now. We just planned the route from Saarbrücken to Munich. And yeah, we can now also go ahead further and plan any approach. If we go on add approach, then we could just add ILS 26 left. If we say, okay, we're coming from the north, we most probably go ILS 26 right, and then just select it, select, click on OK, and then we also just have the ILS planned. Now we have he deleted the star, but we can just add it again. Let's say, okay, arrival again. We want to go Rokiel 1 Bravo, select it, and now we have the full arrival Rokiel to Mike, and then as published on the ILS for runway 26 right. So you see, it's very easy to build a basic route, and also if you want to make any manual adjustments, that's possible here. Just click in the route. For example, let's double here. Tango 104 is doubled in the route. Just delete it, save, and then your route is fine. So that's the fine route. This part here, Zweibrücken 1 Mike, Zweibrücken, Dinkelsbühl, Rokiel, and then Rokiel 1 Bravo. And now we have done the basic route planning for our flight. And if we're now gonna do one step further, so we want to do some flight planning, we go on the next tab, flight details, and then we can select again. If we want to fly IFR, we can type any registration, Bravo Charlie Delta. We say we can select any airline, for example Lufthansa. We can select the flight number, the ATC call sign, the flight date, the off-block time, and also we can enter some equipment, which will be later displayed in the flight plan. We can also have some help of the builder. So if we, for example, we are able to fly ILS approaches, we can select this, go back, and then he entered the respective code for the flight plan, which stands for ILS. But we can also look this up in any databases, which aircraft equipment we have on board, and just post it here. Also, we can select the type of transponder we have, and which flight type we have, so if it's scheduled, non-scheduled, military, or anything else. And last but not least, we can add some remarks here. And also here is the remark builder again. If you need some assistance, which fields you may insert in the remark field, you can use the builder here to just edit or just manually type it. For example, remark /tcas, and then the program automatically edits this to your final flight plan. Then the next step, fuel and payload. That's, for my opinion, in this version right now, quite basic. So you need some data to calculate the fuel burn and everything correctly. So you need an average fuel burn. Just to get the numbers, let's say we have 100 gallons per hour, and we then need to enter the taxi fuel, which is 3 gallons, extra fuel, let's say 10 gallons, tankering 10 gallons, and so on and so on. You can just use everything you need for this flight, and then it will give you a basic block fuel, but that's only depending on the average fuel burn. So there's no very detailed fuel planning in this process, on this step, but maybe in further updates they will give a even more detailed fuel planning available. And also we can use or define our payload, our zero fuel weight, how much payload we have. For example, we can say the flight is 80% full, and then we have just some random loading or some random payload. And then if we set all of this, we can go to briefing, and then we get a basic OFP, operational flight plan, with all the details. And if you're not sure what's, for example, AVG WC, then we see, okay, just hover over it, average wind component on this flight. Then we have the fuel planning here. So we see, for example, trip fuel to from Saarbrücken to Munich will be this amount of gallons. We can also in the options define if we want to use kilograms or gallons or pounds, everything. That's all adjustable, but just for showing you the basic features of the program. And we also see here the flight time from Saarbrücken to Munich will be 54 minutes. So if we're calculating our flight time, we can see it here. That's automatically done, 54 minutes. You could go very deep in this kind of fuel planning and make it very accurate, but just now to demonstrate you the whole features of the MSFS flight planner, I think that's more than enough. But you can go very deeply in this kind of fuel planning thing and make it very exact, but not today. And if you go down, okay, we see the route again. We can put here our times, but that's not so important. And then we have the navlog, so we see every waypoint on our route. So every waypoint on every airway will be displayed here with the coordinates, with speeds and altitudes and fuel burn and everything. So we see how much fuel we should have on board, how much we burned already, and so on and so on. So we have all of the navlog details also here. And if you go a bit more down, we see the ICAO flight plan here. There are some stars because there will be our equipment normally, and we don't enter any equipment right now, so that's all blank. But normally our equipment, and here on the first line the addresses where the flight plan will be sent to should be here, but for sure we now didn't edit any of them, so they are now blank. And then we have the ICAO flight plan here, which we for example can use for VATSIM, IVEO and so on to file the flight plan. And if we go another bit down, we see the weather briefing. So departure, destination, we have the meters and the TAFs available, and that concludes the whole briefing section. And again, we can also on the top select only the navlog. If you only need any navlog, we can also select just this one. Again, options, as I already mentioned, you can check here if you want to have feet, meters, kilograms and so on, but you can have a look individually on this one. And finally the Kneeboard, which I think is also a very good feature, which give you all of the relevant charts you need for this flight ordered already. So you have the charts for your departure airport. So like first you probably need the ground chart for taxiing. If you want to have a look again on the AFC chart, you see this one here. Then if you depart, you need the SID chart. And then for the arrival into Munich, you probably first need the stars chart for our local arrival, then our ILS chart for landing, and if we touch down, for sure we need the AGC chart for the ground layout. And again, we have the parking chart later on for parking. So we have all of the charts we probably need already ordered in our Kneeboard, which I think is a very great feature as well. So then, that's it for the tutorial of the MSFS 2024 Flight Planner. A very good tool. I think there will be probably some updates in the near future to, for example, have a closer look on things like fuel and payload to make this even more accurate. But I think for basic flight planning and for all of the charts especially, this is already a very good tool. Then, thank you very much, have fun planning your next flight, and see you next time.